So it's 11 p.m. I open X for a quick vibe check and then I'm slammed with this one. If you're still using Cursor in June of 2025, you're unbelievably cooked. But it gets worse. Take this one. Claude Code is like a cheat code. So you even use code twice for the extra reach. With Claude Code, the only code editor you need is Notepad. Claude Code helped me build a Swift app in just 2 hours. Claude Code has really changed the vibe coding game. They got me with the engagement bait again. Alright, screw this guy. Claude Code is the first AI tool that is genuinely addictive. Been playing with Claude Code all morning and there's something kind of therapeutic about doing everything via command line. Well, that escalated quickly. Unsolicited advice, do not use AI as your therapist. Dimitro, I want to marry Claude Code. Alright, this is getting out of hand here. I might have made up the last one, but the point is, everywhere I go and everyone's like, why aren't you on Claude Code, bro? Why aren't you using it, bro? Claude Code is the best, bro. Why don't you ditch Cursor, bro? What's wrong with you, bro? It's June 2025, bro. Fine, I'm gonna try Claude Code. And I'm gonna tell you if all the hype is real or these guys are just farming for engagement and taking you for a ride. Let's start. Hi, this is Dan from the future. You know I'm from the future because my caps logo turned black. So what happened is I ended up using Claude Code for an entire week. During this week, I went from an idea to a production app. Here's my reaction by the end of it. Wow, what the f***? What? This is so cool. Look at the about page, y'all. Oh my gosh. The copy is also completely cracked. Look at this, it's so awesome. Man, I just want to use this because it looks cool. So now I'm going to put something in the subject line, gonna resize the text box here and just drop in a full-blown HTML email and then ask it to analyze and boom. So yeah, spoiler alert, you can in fact code with Claude Code. But is it good? Let me show you the full range of emotions and some of the phases that I went through. Let's start from the beginning. So I'm just gonna Google for Claude Code, go on the first link. Yeah, I used Google. If the system works, don't question it. Then there's an npm command, install global anthropic AI /Claude Code. Let's go. That it? Where's the onboarding yet? Right. They're kind of missing the main point, which was typing Claude after you run the npm install command. Let's go ahead and do that. Welcome to Claude Code. So I suppose it's some sort of onboarding. It's probably what got that guy so excited about doing therapy. Then you can choose between a subscription and API usage billing. API usage billing? I've seen things. In fact, I've seen $6,000 worth of things going around X. So no thanks, I'm gonna go with the subscription. Coding 2025, $100 for Claude, $20 for ChatGPT, $20 for Cursor, $10 for Copilot. And there goes my $100. Poof, gone. Welcome to Claude Code. Claude can make mistakes, only use it with the code you trust. And boy, did it ever make mistakes. When I was done building and made my first PR, CodeRabbit found 63 bugs and then I proceeded to spend a few hours just to try to get it to build. Mangled file encoding, wrong imports, lots of type errors, lots of duplication. It had a bit of everything, really. Do you want an optimal coding experience? Yes, sir. Do you trust the files in this folder? I mean, what can you trust these days, am I right? And then we got a friendly word of advice. Be as specific as you would with another engineer for the best results. Finally, run terminal setup to set up terminal integration. I guess I just ran that. Weird. I'm not getting the best of vibes from this onboarding. So if you do /, there's a bunch of built-in Claude commands. Okay, I gotta go through these. So clear conversation, compact conversation, config, cost, doctor. Good, I'm feeling kind of drowsy actually. Upgrade for more opus. Wait, hold up. I'm not doing this in the terminal, okay? This is like 20 years ago. Alright, so the way you install Claude Code in Cursor is you open the terminal and run Claude. So what's the best way to prove the value of Claude Code? Well, that is to build an app from scratch. So that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I'm going to create an outbound email spam checker. So essentially, you'll be able to paste in a subject and the email body, and it is going to tell you how likely it is for this email to make it in spam or not. All right, so I fired up cursor and I'm just going to type Claude. So I can press Command Escape and then Claude Code will open to the right side. And Claude says ID connected. That was a nice little message at the bottom there. I guess I'll just make this a tiny bit bigger. And there's a /config option. And then I have a bunch of settings here. I'm going to spare you because I value your time, but what happened next was Dan reading documentation for the next 30 minutes to understand how this config works. Let's not get into that. Okay, step 1, generate code base in a simple landing page. Done. Step 2, create Claude Code rules or claude.md files with some of the conventions in the code base. Step 3, generate a PRD or product requirements document. And step 4, set up TaskMaster AI to use that PRD and to create tasks so we can keep track of where we are. This turned out to be a lifesaver. Honestly, I don't think I would have shipped anything without it. As the project grew in complexity, having a task system like this was the thing that turned it from AI slop to something I can build in production. I've made a separate video on how to set this up, which I highly recommend that you watch. I won't go into details on how to set it up in this video, but just know that I relied on it heavily. Now back to Claude. It detected that we added a new MCP server and now it's asking us if all tool calls made with TaskMaster AI require approval or not. But speaking of tools, make sure to check Toolfolio.io. It has the most awesome AI tools in there that will guarantee to make you a 10x person at everything, whether it's marketing, coding, video, you name it, they have it all. The best part about Toolfolio is that they just don't accept any tool in there, so they keep it small and high quality. All right, now back to Claude Code. So Claude Code is asking for permission to use this MCP server and highlights that all tool calls require approval. And I'll just go ahead and hit that approve button. So now we're gonna get into the prompt loop, and this is similar to using TaskMaster AI in any other AI agentic system. We're going to start by prompting it show tasks. Then I'm going to prompt it, what's the task I should work on? Please consider dependencies and priorities. One thing you might have noticed is that when I get asked to approve a TaskMaster MCP tool usage, I also allow future usage. Otherwise, it's getting pretty annoying when every time you have to read a task or see which is the next task, you have to approve the action first. So you could do this for a number of the MCP commands. I don't recommend to do it for those that write things because it could just go rogue, but all the read stuff, all the reporting stuff, just go ahead and allow those always. All right, so it came back with this. Next task, implement core data types and schemas. So what I'm going to prompt it now is implement task 2 and all of its subtasks. So one thing I have to say is compared to Cursor, this doesn't have any checkpoints. And because of that, you have to be careful to always commit after it creates some code changes, just so you don't lose your work. Another thing that you might want to do is hit Shift Tab to auto-accept edits. It seems like Claude Code wants to get you into this workflow where you can just leave it, do its thing, write a bunch of files, and then at the end either ask it to test the changes or test them manually yourself. Then you can review the actual code and see if there's something weird in there. So one of the things that I've just noticed is I ran npm install because I guess I was missing a package and it used 6k tokens just like that, just for one install. Doesn't seem like Claude was clever enough to figure out what dependencies I have already. I would have figured that it will read the package JSON before it's trying to install something, but basically it installed Zod again. It was already installed, and I think it just had a minor version ahead that it updated to. So that was definitely a waste of tokens. So as you can see, I already reached the Cloud Opus 4 limit just by doing one task. I've barely done anything, really. So whatever, but I'm fine with Sonnet 4. And boom, done. The task is complete. And if I pop it open in the browser, it opens without any errors. So really nice work, Claude. So let's keep going now, and I'll tell it to implement task 3 and its subtasks. So this is awesome. The next task is the responsive split panel layout, which is the user interface where people will come in, put their email, and then see suggestions on how they could improve it so it doesn't land into spam. So again, I will prompt it implement task 3 and its subtasks. Another thing that I'm noticing that works very well with Cursor and doesn't exist here at all is Cursor's ability to hook into ESLint in your IDE, see that there is, for example, a type error or some sort of lint error, and apply an autofix based on that. Either Claude Code doesn't have that implemented or the IDE doesn't expose an API for that, both of which are a problem because that means you will have to always run a CLI tool that uses a lot of tokens to get that feedback loop. Turns out that Claude Code does have that. It can hook into IDE diagnostics via an MCP tool call. And if there's one takeaway from this video and one takeaway only, it's that you should set that up right now. Here's past Dan arriving at the same conclusion. Look what I just got prompted with. Claude Code is asking me if I'm allowing you to use an IDE get diagnostics MCP tool. Here is the biggest tip I can give in Claude Code. Add this rule that says always run the following commands before completing any task. Automatically use the IDE's built-in diagnostic tool to check up for linting and type errors. This will eliminate so many silly import mistakes, so many type issues, so many typos and renames and small things like that. And it's going to report all of the errors with just one tool call. So that's going to be faster, it's going to use fewer tokens, and Claude will be able to fix multiple issues at once. This gave me a lot of confidence and I tried to blast through tasks way quicker now. However, Claude didn't quite agree and felt it should trip on a small local storage issue for the next couple of hours or so. Here's how I felt. Now we're really up creek, huh? Don't focus too much on the infinite loop that's going on, but when we type stuff, we get a couple errors here, right? It proposed a pretty straightforward fix. Let's head back to the browser. It seems there's a hydration error. Please analyze the root cause and propose a fix. Here's the error stack. This is turning out to be quite the bug fix, huh? I feel like most people would have given up 8 hours ago. So the fact that I'm still here means that either A, I'm a psychopath, or B, I'm really trying to give an objective opinion on what this tool is. Even though it was frustrating, I'm trying to see the good parts. And I am slowly seeing the good parts. All right, I'm pumped to fix this bug. So I did my best with this prompt. So it is claiming that it fixed the issue, but I don't see any file change. In summary, what happened? Jesus. CLI! Whoa, buddy boy. It saw that I hadn't commit before and it just went ahead and did it. What? All right. I'm sold. Claude Code. Yeah, it's the best. Forget the past. Hey, forget the past 10 hours of ranting. Okay, roll back. What just happened here? Claude Code essentially started to learn from my previous actions and figured out that after each bug fix attempt, I want to add and commit the files so I can use them like a checkpoint. Basically, we reinvented the poor man's cursor checkpoints. I haven't seen this before in my life. It felt like magic and it was quite significant after all that struggle. Now back to past Dan. I get it now. I finally get it now. Guys, I get it. I get it now. I get it. Let's see if it actually solved the bug though, huh? Fairly confident that it did. I love Claude Code. Someone had to say it. I love Claude Code. There it is. I love Claude Code. Okay, this might have been a slightly disproportionate reaction, but it did feel like it's been finally living up to the hype. So what happened next is I spent 5 more days coding with Claude. I will spare you the details of that, or maybe you'd like to see it in another video. Anyway, let me just show you what the result of it was. So here we are. Claude Code and I have built an entire application together starting from just one idea. This is the brand new Spamoose, the Terminal Spam Scanner 2.0. Ah man, this just put a smile on my face. As you can see, this is a complete blast from the past. It has 90s vibes. The copy is also really spot on. Look at this, it's so awesome. Man, I just want to use this because it looks cool. So on the left side, you can see we have our email input. We can just press analyze email. It's gonna call the API. We're gonna get a bunch of stuff back. We're gonna get a full report. We're gonna get some details, and we're gonna get tips on how to improve the email. Let me just put a more meaty email in here and try to analyze it. So I'm just gonna hit new email, and you can see the layout is customizable. So I could just drag this to the left side and resize it so I have more space for the analysis. Pretty cool, don't hate it. So now I'm going to put something in the subject line, gonna resize the text box here, and just drop in a full-blown HTML email and then ask it to analyze, and boom. Super high risk of spam, and look at how many improvement tips we got for this one. As you can see on the left, this is actually an HTML email, so it's actually pretty hard to judge by the email body what's inside. And this is where the preview pane comes in super handy. And look at this, we can switch to tablet or mobile view to see roughly how the email will look when it's gonna hit people's inboxes. We can even zoom in and out, and we have a slider to do that as well. AI went completely overboard on this preview thing, but it's pretty cool because from the left side, you have absolutely no idea what email content there is in here. So if we look at the report here, we see monetary amounts, discounts, long URLs, excessive capitalization, and suspicious formatting that were detected. So a bunch of things I can improve to make this better. The obvious improvement here is to also add some sort of AI detection on top of it, but that's content for another video. For now, let me just show you the rest of the user interface. So we have a history tab here. This gets stored to local storage, and it allows me to easily go back and forth between the emails that I've tested before and see the score that I previously got, maybe see the tips that I got. To the right side, we already saw analysis and details and tips. We also have a couple toggles to the right side here. One of them is to make the analysis and preview full screen, and the other one is to reset the layout to the initial value. And you can see here, at any time, we can resize the panel, so we either have more space to write the email or more space to see the preview and analysis on the right, depending on the task that we're currently performing. So it's time for important questions now. Should you switch from Cursor to Claude Code? And off the bat, let me just tell you something. This is a stupid question. It's like asking, should I switch from speakers to headphones? There's nothing to switch to really. They're two different tools and they solve two different use cases. They're complementary to each other the same way as speakers are complementary to headphones. There's a big overlap. You listen to music on both. Similarly, both Cursor and Claude can produce code, but they are fundamentally different things. Cursor is an IDE or a text editor. It could do a bunch of things. It has a built-in terminal. In that terminal, you can run Claude Code. It has extensions. One of the extensions could be Claude Code. So just use both. Each of them have their own use cases that do very well. For example, in Cursor, it's very nice to see code, to see diffs, to see changes. That's horrible in Claude Code. It just is. It's a lot worse. However, Claude Code runs in your CLI. That means you can use it anywhere. You can use it in a script. You can use it in your pipeline, in your CI/CD, anywhere you like. You cannot do that with Cursor. Cursor is a full IDE. You cannot just spin it up and make it do something in a pipeline. If I don't use Cursor, I use Xcode or I use JetBrains, PyCharm, Vim, you name it. Should I use Claude Code? You should absolutely use Claude Code and your mind will be blown. Install it right now. Is Claude Code actually good? Kinda. After months and months of having a good workflow in Cursor, I have to say that Claude Code hasn't been blowing my mind yet. But I do have to acknowledge that it's early days. Cursor has been along for way longer, and the Claude Code team is shipping a lot these days. So things are improving. Before you hit the comment section and you see, Dan, you have no idea what you're talking about, it's a lot better. Look, I have spent 1 week coding only with Claude Code. I specifically stopped myself from doing any manual edits, from using Cursor, just strictly Claude Code, so I get the essence of what this is. While recording this video, I went through a full range of emotions, okay? But let's leave emotions aside. Let me hit you with some facts. Claude Code produced over 63 errors, and after fixing those, I spent more than an hour getting the build to work. It is producing a lot of errors. What are they? Well, sometimes the file just gets mangled. Sometimes type errors. Sometimes importing a module that doesn't exist. Sometimes installing a package and not using it in the code base. But putting all that aside, there's an app in production. There's an app you can use. If it was really that bad, I wouldn't have anything to show you today. Besides some of the rough edges, it sometimes surprised me to the point where I said I want to marry Claude Code. I changed my mind in the meantime. I mean, logistics are kind of complicated, and how will kids even work? So, anyway, what really surprised me towards the end is when I gave it a screenshot and asked it to redesign the user interface, it did a very good job at that. But it's not magic either. It has the same LLM limitations. Even though it has more context, it still produces a lot of mistakes. So be very careful with refactoring stuff and use a task management system like TaskMaster AI to create subtasks to go through all of the files, all of the modules, and not have a soup of new and old that you cannot untangle later. Alright, these are my thoughts. Go install Claude Code. Thank you for watching the video. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. If you like this video, please let me know in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.